Aloha! Welcome to the second and final part of Sonic Labyrinth, folks. So yeah, we're halfway through the game already because, you know, the puzzles themselves are not exceptionally long or complicated. Again, I'm not going to rehash my commentary in part 1. I just want to say right now that I don't get the hate. Afterwards, like after I posted video 1, I decided to look at some more Sonic Labyrinth videos on YouTube. I saw a ton of reviews, not one of them positive, but many of them just, their big complaint with Sonic Labyrinth was that it wasn't Sonic. Okay, I understand that when you get a Sonic game, there's this preconceived notion that you're going to be running fast and jumping around and stuff. Okay, cool. But you know, you can't fault a game for being something that it's not what you expected, you know? Well, I mean, sometimes you can. Force Unleashed 2, I guess I was like that, and that's why it was like my second worst game of 2010. But Force Unleashed 2 also had repetitive gameplay and a shitty story that were backing why it's such a terrible game. I was expecting something awesome, but like, it was still a shit game. Anyone expecting Sonic Labyrinth to be a platformer game and then they get this shouldn't be really too disappointed. I mean, it's still a working, playable game. Yeah, it's way too fucking short. Like, again, I'm gonna beat this in a half hour. That's a short fucking game. Even when you know what to do, it's like a half-hour game. Then again, the Sega Game Gear with its, you know, batteries that die on you so quickly. Maybe Sega was thinking of the consumer this time around, eh? Maybe they were thinking of the consumer. You never know. Anyway, folks, we're at the third boss of the game, the Labyrinth Factory boss. And he is a spiked wall. Yeah, right off the bat, spiked walls come at you, and all you have to do is go to the sides, and you dodge all of them. I don't know why they bothered putting in those sides at all when you could actually dodge it and have a legitimate challenge. I don't know. But when the big guy finally comes out, you just spin dash in the back of him when he goes all the way past the side. Go back to the side when he goes back to the end, and rinse and repeat. Again, a really easy, simple boss. Do you see why the first boss was the hardest boss in the game? Oh, the Chaos Emeralds. Always the solution to all the problems in Sonic. Oh yeah, and a lot of people pointed out that Sonic actually does have a home in Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii. And yeah, I guess that's true. Then again, maybe he was staying at Tails' house for the night. Maybe he and Tails are like roomies and they just, you know, share a house. Kind of like Bert and Ernie, only less gay. Or more gay, I don't know. I'm sure Bert and Ernie are just, you know, platonic friends, but, you know. Also, I don't get this. This is the last labyrinth in the game, like the last world of the game. And 4-1 is so goddamn easy because the pathways are so linear that it's actually easier than the first level. I found all the keys, and now all I have to do is go back this one pathway, and I'm at the exit. Wow, game. You're so short, and yet you ran out of creativity that fast. Jesus Christ. I mean, 4-2 and 4-3 are probably the hardest levels in the game, but 4-1, how do you start this zone with that? Why would you start this zone with that? That should have been the first level. Labyrinth at the castle. And for that matter, why is castle the last zone? Shouldn't factory have been the last zone? I mean, Eggman is a robotic scientist-making guy. I mean, he's not a robot himself, but he makes robots. And you would generally make robots in a factory and not a castle. I don't know, I'm overthinking this way too much. The game's almost over, and I really... I'm not talking about the gameplay much, am I? Again, I don't find it too frustrating, you know? The time limit isn't too tight. I never found myself running out of time or struggling for time. When you get knocked by an enemy, your keys scatter all over the place, and sometimes, like in this area, it happened to me before, if your key falls into a hole, you have to go back to where you found it originally, and it'll spawn there, because if it falls in a hole, you can't pick it up again. Because when you get hit, all the keys scatter around, and you have to go collect them again. Usually it's alright, like right here. See, I just pick it up again. But, you know, sometimes it can be a pain in the ass. At least it's no Sonic 3D Blast. Oh yeah, guys, you know what? Actually, I want to get this out right now, because I'm going to be doing an LP of Sonic 3D Blast later. And I'm going to tell you up front, I do hate that game. You know, Sonic Labyrinth, I don't have a problem with. Seizure Vision! No, actually, the Seizure Vision isn't too bad here, I don't think. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm sorry, folks. But, Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic Labyrinth are very similar in so many ways. They have an isometric viewpoint. You have to collect things before you can go to the exit. In Labyrinth's case... Oh, by the way, you needed to flip the switch in order to reach the goal this time around. If you didn't flip the switch, I believe you have to restart the level or something of that nature. I've always flipped the switch, but I know you need to flip the switch for birds to come out of that clock, and I'm guessing you need to do that in order to finish the level. I could be wrong. I've always flipped the switch, so I don't know. But 3D Blast is very similar to Labyrinth, and I'm going to give you my reasons why I like Labyrinth better than 3D Blast. For one, people complain about Sonic being too slow. Yeah, well, if he was super fast, he'd be running into shit all the time. 3D Blast has an isometric view for platforming, and when you have to navigate lots of spike pits and lava pools and stuff, 3D Blast is just an awful platformer for that. At least here, I don't have to really worry about dying too much. If I'm going super fast, I'm usually in a spin dash, and therefore going to kill an enemy that comes near me. I really have not much to worry about when I'm going fast in Sonic Labyrinth, you know. 3D Blast, you have to save 5 flickies, not 3 keys, and if those flickies... sometimes you can lose the flickies, and they'll fly wherever the hell they want. They don't just land, stay there motionless. Sometimes the flickies will just decide to go off, and then you have to chase them, and... oh, it's a pain in the ass. Having to save up rings and make sure you don't get hit just so you can get the Chaos Emeralds. Again, it's like every other Sonic game, but because 3D Blast is such a terrible platformer, the isometric view makes everything so awkward, you're gonna get hit every now and then, and therefore you're gonna screw up your special Chaos Emerald chances so many goddamn times, and you know what, I just hate 3D Blast, and I don't know why 3D Blast doesn't get the hate that Labyrinth does. You know, I just don't get it. Because Sonic doesn't run. His spin dash is fine. His spin dash is super fast. What is wrong with the spin dash? What do you guys have against the spin dash? It makes Sonic go fast. Yeah, if you walk the whole game, it's going to be slow. Go figure. The game expects you to spin dash. I don't know. I just don't get why this game is so hated. I really don't. I don't understand it at all. I made this level look pretty simple, but I did get stumped on this a long time ago. I remember I was stumped on this for like an hour, because the doors are actually really screwy. They will take you to other doors that don't lead back to the door you just came through, and it's like a really annoying maze sometimes. 4-3 is by far the hardest level in the game, and I made it look simple there, but believe me, the doors and the way they go to certain places, it's so awkward, and it's rightfully so the hardest level in the game, because it's the final level, really, besides the final boss. So, you know, I don't really have too much complaints. It's hard for a reason. It's the final level, but it's not god-awfully bad. Again, I don't think this game is bad. Like, there's no glitches, there's no game-breaking physics. It's just people expected this to be Sonic with the fast platforming, and when they found out it wasn't, they get pissed off and assume that it's not Sonic, so it's shit. I hate how Sonic has to be something in order for it to be a good game. Like, you don't expect Mario to be something. But I digress. We're at the final boss of the game, folks. He starts off dropping egg bombs on you. Very easy to dodge. In fact, I can walk away from them, because they're so slow. Oh no, the challenge. Why, Eggman, why? Alright, here's the gimmick with Eggman, folks. He goes to where you are on the map, and then he drops a bomb on you. You can get out of the way by spin dashing. And then, for whatever reason, Eggman goes down to the ground. He doesn't have to go down to the ground, but he does. And then you just spin dash into him while he's on the ground for that split second. It is a split second kind of deal, but, you know, as long as you're spin dashing, you're not going to get hurt or anything. And that's pretty much it. Just dodge the bomb, and every time he comes down, spin dash into him. Really not that complicated for a final boss of the game. When you destroy the big core part, then his head comes out, and he shoots a laser this time around, and not a bomb. The bomb stayed in its one specific spot, and, you know, created an explosion there. The laser goes outwards. But really, you're just doing the same thing anyway. As long as you go up or down from where the laser shoots, and not left or right, you're gonna dodge it no problem. And when the head comes down, you just spin dash into it, and it's really no issue at all. This is our final boss, folks. Oh, boy. You know, I contend that Sonic Labyrinth isn't an awful game, but it's still not a great game, so I can understand why people would hate it. But, like, worst Sonic game? Really? Worst Sonic game? There are far worse. 3D Blast is worse than this, and I stand by that statement. Anyway, folks, we beat the game in part 2. Isn't that crazy? And there's Eggman running for his life. He drops the last Chaos Emerald, apparently. I think that's a Chaos Emerald. And now Sonic can run again. He no longer has to spin dash, because apparently the Chaos Emerald power can deactivate the boots. And it is wonderful, perfect! Or it is perfect, wonderful. I beat the game. And yeah, that's Sonic Labyrinth. Really, not much else to say about it. I just wanted to make this LP because it's super short, and I figured doing a Let's Look wasn't really... I wouldn't know where to cut out scenes and where to put other levels in, so I just figured I'd do an actual playthrough because it's only a half-hour long anyway. And, you know, I just wanted to rant about how I don't understand the hate for this game. It's like, it's not great. It's super short. It's super easy. I'm not going to be playing this anytime soon. Like, you play it and then you're done with it. But, like, it's just a meh game. It's just a, it's alright kind of game. You know, it's not a, oh my god, this is the worst Sonic game ever. What was Sega thinking? What is Sega thinking? Like, that's not even near that bad. And I just want people to elevate it from worst Sonic game ever to meh Sonic game. I want it to be a meh Sonic game, okay? That's all I want. There's a secret command here that tells you, I believe, a level select cheat, but I could be wrong. I don't really care. This game's meh. But it's not worst Sonic game ever. Stupid plot. At the end of the game, it shows you your time and score, and if the highest ranking you can get is 5 stars. So before Sonic Adventure 2, there was Sonic Labyrinth that ranked you. 5 stars is the best. I got the best. Booyah! Alright, folks, I will see you later, and the next playthrough in Sonic will be Tails Sky Patrol, so stay tuned for that one. Until then, I am the Great Clement. Toodles.
What? I came up with slowdown shoes to make Sonic slower. You come up with a better idea. Son of a bitch!